Guys, happy Monday to you. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Double Shot of Steelers, the first one to happen on the week of training camp. Hope you guys are looking forward to that as much as I am. If you guys were among those looking forward to the release of the alternate uniforms today, I have to question some stuff about you, because this franchise only does one thing. And it tends not to get all super fancy and inventive when it comes to designing really anything, including their very bland yellow stadium. It's just not who they are. It's just not who they are. They're not going to get clever. They're not going to get you the Batman uniforms, which I saw some people throwing around. They're not going to get you something where you go, whoa, that's like the latest, most modern thing. They are exactly what they announced today. I'm not going to spend the whole show on the uniforms, believe me. I just want to get this one out of my system. I have a philosophy, and this goes across sports, but especially to the three Pittsburgh teams. If you have a traditional franchise, or you want to be treated like a classic franchise, you're not going to sell your soul every time there's an opportunity. You're just not. You're going to say, all right, well, what works with our history? What works with who we are or who we already are? If they're going to be forced to go along with something like the NFL's color rush thing, okay, well, that's easy. That's just make your entire uniform one color. Big whoop. Anybody can do that. But when you say we're going to have an alternate uniform, that opens the door to everything. It opens the door to, like, the ridiculous red things that the Pirates wore for one game about 25 years ago. You can't just throw your look away. You can't throw away who and what your franchise is. So what do the Steelers do? The Steelers go back into their history and they find uniforms that they're not exactly what they wore, but they're somewhat like they wore. There's nothing else to it. There's nothing else to it. If you look around sports, you're going to find that even when there are alternate uniforms available to, let's say, the Yankees or the Montreal Canadiens, they don't really do anything with them. They'll find a way to maintain their traditional look, but maybe with a couple of different colors here or there so that they can go along with the whole sales bid. That's it. That's it. And some of them, yeah, Chris says they're hideous. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, my friend. It just doesn't, because it's what they wore. That's all they're trying to sell you here is on their tradition, on how long they've been around. They're not the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're the Pittsburgh Steelers. Back then, they were the Pittsburgh Pirates. They've been around since 1933. That's a real point of pride. I don't say many good things about anyone related to Pirates management, but the previous management, the team president of the Pirates, Frank Coonley, made one excellent move. He got rid of all these various laughing pirates and all these other gags and stuff and just said, what's the most classic look that this team could possibly have? What is the most classic look that they could have? Well, it's just the P. It's the iconic P that's recognized worldwide. It's what Roberto Clemente was wearing. It's what, in some form or other, Hannes Wagner was wearing. It was a little different back then, but you get my point. That's what you do. The Penguins had their own phase in the 90s where they went to some robo pigeon, whatever it was. And it was like, what was that? I remember there were some people who liked it, and there's more people who like it retroactively, which is weird. But when they went back to their regular Penguin, it has the golden triangle on it. Downtown Pittsburgh. That's the symbol of downtown Pittsburgh, the golden triangle. It's on the Penguins logo. How do you go away from that? Penguins logo now regularly cracks everybody's top 10. Okay. Do you notice I have the helmet backward today? Did you notice that? Did you notice I have it facing the other way? Anybody else notice that? Do you think that I made a mistake there? Do you think that I have a bad helmet, a defective helmet? Or do you know what the actual story is there? Do you know that the Steelers are the only team in the NFL that only have the logo on one side? And it all traces back to an incredible story back in the 1930s. about how they only had enough of those to go around on one side. So they just put them on one side, and they thought they would get around to the other side at some later point. That's pretty cool. Whenever you go to visiting stadiums as a reporter, and you see, for example, the media notes or the printed game materials, the visiting teams recognize that when the Steelers helmet is facing a certain direction on their material, it has to be blank. And they do that. They honor that. The other 31 teams and their staffs honor that. I'm sorry. That's really, really cool. That's what matters. Not whether or not they could sell Batman Gotham-based whatever stuff here. When we come back on this program, I don't have the boss here today, so I'm going to be a little bit clunky. She's on her way back from New York. I'm going to say hi to Chris Halleck, if I remember how to do all of this transition one stuff. We'll be right back.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now that
I told you I was going to mess this up. Here, I'm really blowing this now. Group discussion. Uh-oh. Okay, so this is show on stage. Okay, this is the me part. Oh, God, I'm so embarrassed. This is for intro. This is group discussion, but then I show up as a circle. Let's bring Halleck in here to help me save me. Oh, no, now he's a circle.
Oh, no. What is going on here?
What are we doing here?
You want me to see if I can fix this?
Go ahead, yeah.
All right.
Clearly, I'm not getting it done. Oh, look
There's
at Halleck with the magic touch. I don't touch anything now. It's perfect. Don't touch anything. Don't touch anything.
Now you know why she makes the big bucks.
Oh, man. All right. Well, I'm really sorry we robbed you of that ad that you've seen a million times anyway, but we're just going to go ahead and get started on this segment with Chris bailing us out here. Lanisha thinks you need a raise. Chris,
of all the things that I've done to earn a raise, there have been other things.
He works very hard. Chris equals Dolly 2.0.
Definitely not.
No, really, what did you do? Dude, you just like walked in, you just like pointed like the Jesus like magic touch, and it just happened.
It's the little icons underneath our little screen right here that show the.
Oh my God, it is.
Yeah.
And she would be so mad at me because she's shown me that a million times. I've shown you that a million times. It's those things. Let's talk about the before I dig my hole even deeper here. These uniforms that came out today, 1933, they're not the Bumblebees, which were a different older uniform, but they both came in the same spirit. They're both just the Steelers being the Steelers. In this case, literally being the Steelers. Well, the Pirates, really.
Well, yeah, they were the Pirates back then. No, I mean, listen, I had a feeling, and this is not based off of any inside information at all, but I had a feeling it was going to be the 33 jerseys, which they did wear in 1994 during the NFL 75th anniversary season. I do remember that. And these are different because the NFL code is different because you have to have the numbers large on the chest, like in the middle. And when they wore them in 1994, the city of Pittsburgh crest. Was in the middle of the chest, and then the numbers were in the top right shoulder. And they can't do that anymore. So they swapped it. They put the crest in the right shoulder or the left shoulder. I can't remember where, but I think it's the left shoulder. And then the numbers are in the front. I mean, listen, I'm in total agreement. It's like a lot of these older jerseys are not fun to look at, but this is what I mean. Think about like some of the other like iconic franchises in the NFL. The Packers have some really, really ugly throwback uniforms,
but they're real.
Yes, they are real. That's what they used to wear, or at least somewhat close to what they used to wear back in the day. And the Packers and the Steelers, and there are a few others that are considered to be these iconic franchises. And you don't go reinventing the wheel. Shoot, even when the Color Rush uniforms did come out, the actual jersey, not the pants and the helmet and everything, but the actual jersey was really, really close to one of the jerseys they wore in the 60s. Like when they wore those throwbacks, when they had the gold helmet and then the white pants that they were wearing in the 2000s. It's pretty much that same jersey, just a little bit different when they wore the color rush jersey. So even then, they still kind of pulled from their history to do something like that when the NFL was mandating you have to have a color rush jersey. So I think it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, they have throwbacks. They have what the genre refers to as faux backs, F-A-U-X, referring to the French word for fake or false.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's actually this would officially qualify as a near faux back because it's not an exact throwback.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot like when the Penguins did their Robo Pigeons just a year or two ago, or they did the Snoop Dogg ones when Snoop Dogg wore those. I think it was in the Gin and Juice video.
Yeah.
It's what did you think they were going to do? They're the Steelers. Yeah. You know, they have cocktail umbrellas on top of the rotundas at their stadium. Yeah. I mean, they're not the most fashionable group. Okay, they're just not. I'm not being mean here. They're like if you put, Uncle Charlie in charge of the family reunion. Okay, and Uncle Charlie's got no sense for anything. Uncle Charlie's just going to get you a couple of tents. Okay, that's what they are. They're Uncle Charlie. They're not going to be the ones where you go, whoa, but did you see what the Steelers had? No one's going to do that.
Well, and you talk about like not wanting to look fashionable or not looking fashionable or anything like that. Isn't this a blue collar city? Like, isn't this like not worrying about how you look at everything? All that matters is really how you end up performing, how you end up, playing,
Does anybody remember how they played in those Bumblebees? They were unbelievable. they were just a juggernaut. Like nobody ever wanted to take them off.
I still remember the game. I think it was 2014 where Ben went like 40 for 49 for over 500 yards and 6 touchdowns in those jerseys.
That was in that jersey. Yes, it was.
Yeah. So
in fact, wasn't that against Green Bay? Since we're
that was against the Colts.
No? Okay,
that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
He had a monster game against Green Bay too. It was in that same phase.
Yeah.
It's as Danny Johnson says, PR needs to move forward. No, it doesn't. It's just the Steelers. They have a respect for their history and who they are. And I think that's part of what makes them who they are. Timothy Hemma says, if you remember that it's the Earl of Chatham, William Pitt's family crest before the city's crest. But I do miss the block numbers uniforms too. A couple of good points that are worth making there. One is that when you see the city crest, it is that crest that Tim is describing there. William Pitt, by the way, SOB, never even came here. I don't know if you know that or not.
I didn't know.
Dude, in the 1700s, he just sat over there and said, name a plot of land for me. And they gave him this. And he never even came. Like, we have nonstops from Heathrow now. And William Pitt was like, no, man, I'm not going there.
Oh, that's funny.
The block numbers, though, is a big point. If you really want to do an honest throwback that would really be popular with the fan base. Oh, my goodness, Chris. Can you imagine?
I mean, shoot,
they go back to block, and they will. That's the other point of this. One of these days, they're going to do that. They're going to go back to the block numbers. They're not going to look at the Iowa Hawkeyes and say, now they look more like the Steelers than the Steelers do.
Yeah, I do kind of wonder, and that's just one question I just have yet to actually bring up with Art Rooney II, even in just passing. Like, hey, what do you think about the block numbers? And I mean, now I think they have listened to the fan base when it comes to what they want with certain things. For example, the gold end zones. They brought them back for that Christmas Eve game against the Raiders a few seasons ago when they were honoring the Immaculate Reception, and obviously we what made that week even just more special / bittersweet, obviously, was what that Franco passed away just days before they were retiring his number. But they had those gold end zones, and everybody was like, "Oh, bring back the gold end zones!" And now, as soon as Pitt football season ends, and they stopped sharing the stadium so that they don't have to keep changing the end zones. They do swap it. Like last year, it was like as soon as the Pitt football season ended, they changed to the gold end zones and kept them. So I don't know. Maybe the block numbers come back, but they did have that one game last year. I think it was against the Jets where they did wear the block numbers.
They did.
And had the gray face masks.
They looked really good.
They did.
You know who they look like? The Steelers.
Yeah. They did. They
just throwing that out there. We are trashing William Pitt in the comments today, and I'm here for it. And I don't care if he had enough Sky Miles or not. He had enough pounds.
Yeah.
You know, he could have made it over here. They had boats at the time.
I did find it interesting that they chose this year to change up the throwbacks, because last year they wore those throwbacks, the block numbers with the gray face masks, to honor the 50th anniversary of Super Bowl IX. Well, this season's going to be the 50th anniversary of Super Bowl X, which they wore those same. Actually, they might have changed to the black face masks by then. But either way, they still had the block numbers, obviously. So I kind of find it interesting that they chose this year to go to the 33 throwbacks.
You know, there's a lot of good things, way more good things to say about the Steelers look and their iconic, their traditional quirks and stuff like that. Yeah. Than there are anything negative. The Steelers, one of my favorite things about the Steelers is that the origin of their name is such that we will get to training camp talk if you guys are interested. This is fun. But the origin of their name is obvious. It is a steel. What a lot of people might not know is that the symbol itself was not really theirs. There was a logo for the steel industry that you can find that just misses the ers on it. Just said steel and looked like that. So the Steelers didn't even do that.
Yeah.
Okay. They weren't even part of that. They just slapped a steel logo, the actual steel logo on the side of the helmet. And that became who they are. I'm always into team nicknames that have some direct origin in the city. We mentioned the Green Bay Packers. Why? Yeah. They were the meat packers. They were the cheese, the dairy people, the farmers, the workers. Okay. That's really, really cool stuff.
Yeah.
The worst ones by far are the ones where the team moves and the nickname no longer makes sense. The NBA has a ton of these. The Los Angeles Lakers is one of the worst. There are no lakes in California. I mean, there are a couple, but they were the Minneapolis Lakers. They were Minnesota, land of 10,000 lakes. And you have, what's another one bad? Utah Jazz. Terrible. Yeah. They were the New Orleans Jazz. Made perfect sense. That would only work in New Orleans and maybe nowhere else. Okay. But the ones that have some direct origin to their team or their history, St. Louis Blues is great. Okay. Those are really, really good ones. And if you pass on that opportunity, including these expansion teams with all these singular nicknames as opposed to the plural ones, Minnesota Wild.
Yeah.
You know, like who's that? Like you should see Chris in that building, how awkward it is for these people to chant.
Oh, I'm sure.
Let's go Wild. What do you say?
Yeah.
What do you say? Let's go Avalanche? No, they say let's go Avs because they make it plural. If you look at Pittsburgh, go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say there's one that really stands out to me because they changed it after just a few seasons, and that was when Houston moved to Tennessee, and they were the Tennessee
Oilers. Yeah,
they were the Tennessee Oilers for just a few seasons, and then they changed it to the Titans, which it's fine. And I there are some people that get like really, really mad when the Titans wear the Houston Oilers throwbacks because
because they still see that there is an emotional connection to the old Dan Pastorini, Earl Campbell, Bum Phillips Oilers in Houston, and there should be. DV points out one of the better ones, the Columbus Blue Jackets with their Ohio Civil War history. But the issue is that nobody knows what it's referring to. Look it up then. That's okay. In Pittsburgh, we have our Steelers, who are obviously after the steel industry and everything. The word Steeler, by the way, is not a thing. You look it up in the dictionary, it doesn't exist. There's no such thing as a stealer.
Yeah.
Like in actual life. Okay. Which is actually kind of cool unto itself here. The Pirates, for anybody who doesn't know, were named for stealing a player from Philadelphia It was a derisive nickname. It was a shot at them. They stole a player named Louis Bierbauer as a second baseman. He basically became baseball's first ever free agent because he was available, and the Pirates were like, we're just going to pay him more money. We think he's a good player. This was in the 1800s, late 1800s. He comes along. A Philadelphia newspaper refers to the Pittsburgh franchise, which was known as the Alleghenies at the time, as the Pirates, because they came in and pirated their player. And everyone here was like, hey, that actually sounds kind of cool. The people in Philadelphia hate us. We're off to a really good start here. Okay. And they called themselves the Pirates, which is an amazing transition. Penguins, of course, are named for the igloo itself, even though penguins don't live in igloos, and igloos are in the Arctic Circle as opposed to Antarctica. We somehow made that work. Okay.
Do you remember who came up with the name Pittsburgh Penguins?
I don't.
Jack McGregor's wife.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Jack. So according to the Pittsburgh is Home documentary on the first 50 years of the franchise, it was his wife that came up with the name, and she liked it for the alliteration and because the Civic Arena was called the Igloo. And apparently it didn't go over well. Like the first GM was like, "You're kidding."
These are fat, flightless birds. What is this all about?
Yeah. I do find it interesting though, because I wondered, like the school district my kids go to is Penn Trafford, and they are the Warriors. And I was like, okay, well, what's the Native American history? Well, the Battle of Bushy Run is literally right here.
Right there.
And so that's the reason why they're named the Warriors. And so I think that's pretty cool. Whenever
you start getting into high school nicknames in the specific regions, especially in the places that have a lot of history, as they do throughout our Commonwealth, especially when you get over into the areas that have Civil War history and so forth, where there's been actual battle. But there's been battle here in Western Pennsylvania at various points in history. But all three of our teams' names are, it's not like they were in a contest or something, but it was cool. I'll say this. It was really cool to be in Salt Lake City just about whatever that was, Chris, 4 or 5 months ago. When was that? When the Penguins were there?
Yeah, sometime earlier this year.
I was out there.
Like January, February.
They were still in the process of trying to permanently name that team. Remember, they just called it the Utah Hockey Club for 1 year.
Yeah.
Chris, the discussions among the younger people there that were right in front of me, coffee shops and whatever, were so passionate. And they would talk about how they wanted to name it after the mountain range that surrounds Salt Lake City. I think it's Watachi, if memory serves. I don't mean to be disrespectful if I forgot it. But they ended up with the Utah Mammoth. Now, I'm not – or is it Mammoth or Mammoths?
Mammoth. Just
God damn these singular nicknames. But that their heart was in this, which is so cool. None of us ever had that opportunity. And that's actually kind of cool. So I will say that. Danny Johnson says, has Pitt ever considered changing their colors? No, why should they? It's a college. It has nothing to do with this.
I mean, they kind of did for a little while, just like the Penguins did. Like they
went to the deep blue, and the Vegas gold, which was a terrible idea, and they changed it back. But there's Major League sports, and then there's college sports. They don't have anything to do with each other. But Pitt's colors actually go back way further for anybody who doesn't know. I mean, way further. The university is 150 some years old. It's older than the Pirates.
Yeah.
So Paul wants us to explain why Allardyce is the Dragons. Paulie's so ridiculous. He thinks he can catch us every now and then here. The Pef, who's from over that part of the state that I was just referencing here, says the Ravens are named after a poem, of course, from a Boston native who moved to Baltimore in his old age, married his 13-year-old cousin. No, got drunk and died. Wow, we just went at Edgar Allan Poe really, really hard here. The Pef bringing that AFC North rivalry in the ugliest possible way. Ooh. Wow.
That's a mic drop right there. Let's just walk away. Let's just drop the mic and just walk away.
Yeah, and the Seattle Kraken isn't very good. I'm sorry. I get what they're doing, and I appreciate it. I appreciate some of the stuff they've done with their arena. in fairness to Seattle, they're fighting. Somebody told me just now when I was there a couple of weeks ago that they're fighting really hard to bring their NBA team back, and they're expecting that they're going to do it. The Sonics, they should never have lost them. It was over an arena issue, for God's sake. That should never happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's happened so many times. It almost happened with the Penguins.
Jorge Rico comes in as the like police and says that, come on, folks, only 111 likes on YouTube. You know, it's funny. If you're here every day, you might think it doesn't matter if you like it. Actually, it does. Each individual episode benefits from that algorithm here. James Fairfield says, not many Tigers in Cincinnati. Actually, James, as long as we're on a roll today here, there is a connection. The Cincinnati Bengals have had white Bengals, the white or albino Tigers, I think they're called.
I think so.
At the Cincinnati Zoo for a long, long time. So there is a connect, and it goes the other way around. They were there before there was an NFL team. Okay, so there actually is a connection there, and it is kind of cool. Also, all four of the AFC North teams have something to them. Paul Brown and the Brown family, obviously, with the Browns.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why, like, I'm like, just for the football in Ohio history, that's why I was kind of irritated of all the renaming of stadiums. The one where they changed Paul Brown Stadium to Paycor Stadium is just, it's like,
you take the money too, Chris.
I mean, yeah, I get it, but for me, it's like Paul Brown obviously had an effect on football in Ohio. You got two football teams in Ohio, and his name was literally on either the franchise or the stadium for the other team. And yeah, so
you know what? If somebody wanted to name our company something and they put up enough money, they could call it whatever they wanted. I'm really, really easy here.
Money talks.
We can do some football. We have a little bit of time here to do some actual football. Reporting date is Wednesday. No, we do not have our time yet for the show. We believe it's at 5 p.m. Yeah. The first practice is on Thursday. And Chris, it's funny. The one thing that I would bring up probably above anything else as we head into this camp a couple days in before we get super footballish, since we're clearly not in that mood anyway today, is there is the very real possibility of this being the most drama-free camp in franchise history, certainly in modern history. I can't think of, it's like somebody asked the other day, who's going to be the player that drives up in some crazy vehicle or something? I couldn't come up with one.
Well, there are
Eli Rogers will surprise you every once in a while, but even he's not there anymore.
Well, I mean, there are some guys we don't quite know yet. I mean, even though we've been around DK Metcalf a little bit, we still don't quite know. Okay, is he going to make some sort of big impression when it comes to reporting day? Shoot, this is going to be the first time we're going to see Jalen Ramsey or Jonnu Smith. Who knows if they show up with some sort of flair. But even outside of reporting day, like this is, I think, the biggest like potential story for drama could just be, how does Aaron Rodgers look in training camp? Like,
and what's that? Like, can you picture a scenario when if he goes out there on, I don't know, not so much Thursday, but let's say that he goes out, actually even Thursday, Friday, whatever it is, before pads are on, and just misfires on all his passes. Like, who would be the ones to take that seriously?
A lot of fans.
First of all, he's not going to. Okay, so throw that out the window.
Well, a lot of fans, because there are certain places, websites that like to track quarterback stats in training camp because that matters. Apparently, it doesn't. And as soon as they see that Aaron Rodgers throws, if he ever has a day where he throws multiple interceptions, there will be people that go berserk. They'll just be like, oh, what are we doing? He's 41 years old. He can't go through training camp without throwing multiple interceptions. Like, it doesn't matter. It really
Never
doesn't.
mind the sled, huh?
Oh, my gosh.
Richard Hunt says, if you were staying in a dorm room, which current player would you choose?
Oh, boy.
Richard bringing put you on the spot kind of question. And I'm going to therefore throw that to Chris while I think of my own answer selfishly here.
Oh man, let's see. I'm trying to think. Like, there's some really cool personalities on this team. I I would do it. Does it have to be a player? It does say player. Just say
It says player, man. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I'm probably gonna bunk up with Aaron Rodgers because that's 21 years of NFL experience that I'd want to be trying to get as much out of as I possibly could. I'd be asking a lot of questions about offense, so much so I'd probably have to find a new roommate.
David Smith comes through with mine. That was easy. It's Cal. I'm a Cal guy. I don't apologize for that. I don't feel the need to explain it. I feel like there's been a good times and bad bond with him, and those are always my most valuable ones. I'm not interested in those people, those athletes who just want to talk when things are good. I was, not to change the subject here, but I was over at the ball yard yesterday, and guys that I've known for a long time who are playing for the Pirates really didn't want to talk about anything, and I'm sorry, that's not okay.
Yeah.
All right. You lose 11 out of 12. Stand there. Not for us. We don't care. I'm talking about for the fans, because the fans want to hear what you have to say. We don't matter at all. Okay. We're not holding those cameras and microphones for ourselves. Okay. But if you can't hit a guy with a 5.5 ERA like Aaron Savali yesterday, stand there. Yeah. Stand there and say what happened. Stand there and say what he did. Don't go running out. And that's what they did. But so I'll take my guys in good times and bad. Why do you think Cam Hayward was winning Chief Award year after year after year? Mm-hmm. Cam sits there after a game and after a loss and takes wave after wave after wave after wave of reporters, and he's answering on a lot of cases the same question again and again because it's a different group of reporters.
Yeah,
I'll take those guys every time.
Yeah.
You know, Kerry Russell comes in with a gift. As always, Kerry, you got to let us know if you're a guy or a girl here. I've always been curious. One of these days, you got to come in with that, because sometimes I want to say he, sometimes I want to say she, and I'm never sure which it is here. The barber's dropping $5 on us. Damon comes in with a couple and says, "Bring back the blast furnace." Nickname. I'm not sure what that was for. Silly question from Tim wants to know if the coaches stay in the dorms. They're all there.
Mm-hmm.
They're all there. I'm sure some get better accommodations than others do.
No.
Yeah, Robert Sham says you got to be the same person in good or bad times. You got to be equally accountable is the point. Don't just stand there after you hit 2 home runs. You know?
It's easy to do that.
Somebody's suggesting that you and I should rent a helicopter and land up there in the media area.
And immediately lose our credentials.
Not just lose our credential, lose our finances. You know how much that costs?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, Steve says Major League Baseball is a lesser sports league. It is. You mean than the NFL? Absolutely. And part of the reason for it is it doesn't have the salary cap. And they've taken half the franchises and thrown them out, basically. Like they don't even matter. Devon comes in seeking a membership, I see. DKPS.net/join is where you need to go, Devon, when this show is done. Says, outside of Gabe Davis, why haven't the Steelers kicked the tires on Amari Cooper? That name does come up every once in a while, but not from in there, though. It's all external.
I don't have a definitive answer. Like I haven't directly asked somebody on the inside about Amari Cooper and then gotten a direct answer. But I do know just from a little bit that I've talked about when it comes to other receivers they haven't really kick the tires on, is that it's obviously not a fit for what they want, or there's also concern over the potential health issues. Now, Amari Cooper did have his own issues last year. I understand Gabe Davis did, but Gabe Davis honestly fits what they need from a WR2 more than what Amari Cooper does, because I just put it in the Chalk Talk I did today. Receivers play a role in the block, like as blockers in the running game in an Arthur Smith offense. They just do. And especially from that other side where you are the Z receiver, you're lining up with the strength of the formation, you have to be able to block. And Van Jefferson, that was his primary job whenever he was lined up on that side. Whenever they were running the ball, he would try to go up against a linebacker. He'd fail a lot of the times, but that's just part of it. Gabe Davis is more capable of that kind of stuff than Amari Cooper is. Obviously, Amari Cooper, well more accomplished receiver, can do a lot, has done a lot more things in terms of as a pass catcher, but sometimes it is about the X's and O's, not just, adding as many highly overall players on Madden as you possibly can to a roster.
Lanisha says, DK and Chris, when did you start to have concerns about Ben's arm in his final season? Was it training camp, OTAs, or is it season where I had concerns about Ben's arm in week 2 of the 2019 season when he went down? I mean, that's just as simple as it gets.
Yep.
When you doctors refer to it as getting cut, when you get cut, okay, when they go in there and they do repairs, yeah, you can come back stronger than ever. That's the nature of Tommy John surgery in baseball. It's well known that they put a ligament in from a cadaver that is stronger than your original ligament. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you can come back stronger and healthier than ever and everything, but yet you also see guys go down to multiple Tommy John surgeries. We've seen it with the Pirates here. In Ben's case, it was an elbow, and it wasn't necessarily Tommy John surgery.
It was not.
But it was an elbow surgery, and it's just something wasn't there when he came back. Whether he was not pressing it hard enough. Remember the one training camp where Tomlin was almost playfully making fun of him not having the zip I'd like to see, because he was trying to get Ben to really let it go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. From what I understand, and I'm trying, this is like really pulling this from memory. That was an injury in which I think like all of the tendons that attach to the bone ripped off.
Came off.
And so this is not your Tommy John surgery. This is a completely different surgery. And at his age, with how strong his arm was before, it's
a big climb.
The chances of him getting his arm back to that strength were very, very small. He still had a decent arm, but compared to what he had before, along with the fact that he couldn't move anymore. I mean, we want to talk about people who say Aaron Rodgers is a statue. No, 20 and 21 Ben was a statue compared to Aaron Rodgers now. Like, he couldn't move, and then he didn't have the same arm strength. It was just the second that muscle ripped off the bone, that was it. Like, that was the moment that everybody in the organization needed to be honest about the future of quarterback.
Right then and there, instead of waiting 5-6 years. Yeah. And we're still, technically speaking, waiting on that.
Correct.
I mean, that still has not been the case, and it should have been addressed emphatically in the moment. Mm-hmm. And that's not hindsight. People were saying it back then.
Yep.
The one person who resisted it and had one of the louder voices in the building, of course, was Ben himself. And the head coach never resisted that because, as I've shared with you guys many, many times, he'd rather just not deal with it. He would just rather say, let it go. Let Ben handle it. Ben is the quarterback guy. He's also the quarterback. Yeah. So let him actually do it. And it was just kicking the figurative can down the road. We're not flying in on a helicopter, guys. We're not coming in on a hot air balloon. I just saw that one. We're not doing any of those things.
You couldn't pay me to step foot into a hot air balloon. No way I would ever do that.
This is interesting. The Smith family says, late on the discussion, DK, but we used igloos too in Antarctica for shelters in case of need. I had to build one for snow survival school down there. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Do you just refer to the population of Antarctica as we? You have to come back and explain this, dude. We have had lots of different people from lots of different parts of the world chime in. You would be the first from the 7th continent. You would be the first. So we need some clarification on this one here. Pearl Jam comes in and says, still need a WR2, 2 years and counting. That is accurate. Not sure what to say to you on that one here.
I mean, Denny, but the good thing is there are a lot more options this time than there were last year.
Denny says at least rent Brett Kiesel's tractor. That was a rental, by the way. Kiesel didn't bring his tractor all the way from the farm in Wyoming. Kiesel has a place here too, by the way. Don't think that he's just like out there with those cows that he names after. What are some of those cows' names that he has? Bull Cower is one of the best. There's one named after Dick LeBeau, and I can't remember what it is right now. The cows have the best names. Bull Cower is the winner.
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good.
So we're still waiting on the Smith family to explain how the heck he's speaking on behalf of the people of Antarctica on this bizarre show today. Steely McBeam is the best mascot in the NFL, says Damon King, seemingly out of nowhere. Raina says Steely McBeam is terrifying. I don't even acknowledge Steely McBeam's existence. Have you ever thought about, given a thought to Steely McBeam, Chris?
Maybe
once even cross your mind.
Maybe
really?
Once in my life. Yeah. And that was mainly probably because I just wondered who the Steelers mascot was.
The truth is the mascots aren't for the home games. The mascots do for all three of our teams, whether it's the Parrot or whether it's Iceberg. They do unbelievable volumes of community work. And I don't want to peel the curtain back too far, but there isn't just one of them. They do a lot of different appearances for kids, and they do a world of good. So that's a beautiful thing right there. Mm. So it's not about like the fans that have been drinking since 6 a.m. filling up the yellow seats going, where's Steely McBeam to get me motivated for this? Nobody needs it. Oh, this is out of all of Kiesel's cows, man. Palomal moo. God, you can hear him saying it. It's 10 times funnier.
That's awesome.
Kanan wants to know how long we see Alex Highsmith staying with the Steelers. It seems like we've been writing Highsmith's epitaph ever since Nick Herbig made his first sack. Remember the first time too, he goes through hot knife through butter, takes the guy down, and you're like, this is the greatest edge rusher we've ever seen. They didn't even remember TJ Watt.
That's funny. I mean, shoot, like, didn't Alex Highsmith just sign a contract extension 2 years ago?
Yes.
I mean, he's not
going anywhere.
No, he's not going anywhere. I mean, he's under contract through 27. He's under contract for another 3 years.
And in the era where you're really valuing stopping the run, you're not about to replace a run stopper like Highsmith.
No. Who can also get after the quarterback too. Like,
he can do a lot of things. He also can ramp up his play. He can ramp up his splash. And Alex has already talked about that. He did so at minicamp. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure he's going to be one of the first people who's available, by the way, on Wednesday. You want to talk about a guy who's accessible and accountable and so forth. That would be Alex Highsmith for sure here. William says, hey, DK, are there any other extensions that could be done before the season starts? Maybe CA3. Calvin and Jaylen Warren are the only two that I see as even really being in the mix. Am I forgetting somebody here, Chris?
Not that I can think of. The three that I kept thinking of outside of TJ were Deshaun Elliott, Calvin Austin, and Jaylen Warren. But obviously, Elliott's already done.
There is one.
Who? Sam.
I'm going to let everybody guess it.
Okay.
I'm going to let everybody guess it. Who did we both, Chris and I, just now forget to mention? Come on, people. It's up to you here. Don't do it, Chris. Even if you think of it, don't do it. Somebody who's coming in here. No, it's not going to be Isaac Seumalo. It's definitely not going to be Keanu Benton. It's not Keanu Benton.
Benton's not till next year.
Benton's not till next year. Somebody else who really ought to be getting an extension from this team. It is not Joey Porter Jr. It is. Oh, we finally got one. Can I put it up? Is everybody ready?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Look up the contract terms.
Yeah.
You know who happens to feel really strongly about this particular issue?
Chris Boswell.
Yeah, that's right, pal.
As he should. I mean, he's the best kicker in the league.
He's the best in the world at what he does.
Yeah.
And let's find the contract. I actually did a podcast about this not that long ago.
I'm gonna pull it up.
And I remember the reaction that I got from almost everybody was like, wait, what are you talking about? Chris Boswell? What? Who do you mean? Isn't he signed for life or whatever? He is operating right now on a 4-year, $20 million extension that was signed in 2022. He is under contract through the 2026 season. So he has another year. They are not going to let him enter a lame duck season unless, of course, he just falls apart, which that's not going to happen. And how old is he now?
I mean, almost doesn't matter for kickers, but
no, it almost doesn't matter. He's 34. So you're getting into, I mean, he would be 35 or so. You sign Chris Boswell.
Yeah.
I mean, you absolutely extend Chris Boswell. And it's funny that we all of us, because we all blew it here. Okay. Me and Chris, and then all you guys until eventually started coming in here. And now all of a sudden it's, oh yeah, pay the money. Yeah. Oh yeah, we love him. But you didn't think about him until 5 minutes ago here. All day long. Sign him now.
Maybe
Jacob
I didn't
says I thought he got extended last year. No, 2022, long time ago.
I knew it had been a couple of years. Maybe I didn't think of him because he's still under contract in 26.
Yes.
And
that is the separator, right?
Yeah, I would assume that. I mean, the Steelers typically do wait until the year or the offseason before their final year. So like next year for sure, that's when you're looking at the class of 23. So that's when you're looking at Broderick Jones, 5th-year option possibly. You're looking at Joey Porter Jr. You're looking at Keanu Benton. You're looking at Nick Herbig. You're looking at all these guys who were in that class. But Chris Boswell, I mean, shoot, if he has another Chris Boswell season in which he is either first team or second team All-Pro, because now Justin Tucker won't be there to threaten him. I mean, how do you not give
Justin Tucker's going to be threatening his cellmates before long here. Man, what's up with the AFC North in that, huh? You know,
geez.
Not to joke about it. It's not funny, but it's like, yikes, man.
Yeah.
Cold Steel says, I remember when Boz had a rough year, and the next season he turned that thing around like Fat Albert passing an ice cream truck. Yeah, it's really good, actually, pal. You just did all that for the Fat Albert line? That's very good. But he did turn it around, and that's because he is mentally tough. It's also because, and be fair here, the Steelers, and specifically the head coach, Mike Tomlin, really stuck behind him.
Yeah.
Okay, they could have started bailing. They could have started looking at options, whatever. They just stood there with him. We know who he is. We know what he is. Yeah, kickers are unusual. Kickers are they exhibit some unusual behavior. Boz has only exhibited the best behavior, including the time he ripped on Matt Canada on his way back into the locker room and had it caught on videotape.
That might be the best Chris Boswell moment ever.
Tony Brown says, doesn't it seem like, we're going to take a couple more today and that's it. Tony Brown says, doesn't it seem like Boz's leg has actually gotten stronger over the years? I mean, I think you can say that about most kickers, and whether or not that's just because of more advanced conditioning, stretching. Don't forget that the dexterity of the leg counts as much as the strength. It also is because coaches, we're speaking of coaches' faith, now look at 55 or they look at 58 or whatever it is, yards on the field, and they go, oh, my guy can do that.
Yeah.
And whereas before you wouldn't even think about it. And now it's like, I've got 9. I'm just going to send 9 out there. And he gets it done. We've seen Tomlin really, I'm going overboard here, maybe with Tomlin's credit to Boz, but we've seen Tomlin put extra trust in Boswell when it comes to distance, not just accuracy.
So I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there. It's not going to happen this year. But Chris Boswell is closing in on Gary Anderson.
He is. For
all-time scoring in franchise history. Gary Anderson has the franchise record at 1,343 points. Boz is at 1,127 because he's just over 200 points away. So before, I think by the time everything is all said and done, Boswell is going to be, I mean, he already is the best kicker in franchise history, but then he'll be all-time scoring leader on top of it.
Mr. Buku says, I just never want to see Boz roll out and attempt to pass again. He does. He does. And what I never want to see again is what happened to Sean Sweezum in Canton at the Hall of Fame game when he thought it was a good idea to go and make a tackle.
Oh, yeah.
And ended up costing him pretty much his career, right?
Yeah. I was just saying, you were saying like kickers are weird. Like, I mean, there are certain kickers that do just lose it though. Like Mike Vanderjagt, like that miss in the divisional round in 2005.
The idiot kicker.
Yeah, he was never the same again.
That's not me. That was Peyton Manning. Right. As long as we're clear on who called him that.
But going into that game, he was the most accurate kicker in NFL history. And he just never recovered from that.
A movie could have been written on that game. An entire screenplay for a movie could have been written about that game. The number, and you would start like with the dude getting stabbed by his wife the night before the game, the one that Ben ended up tackling.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember his name right now, but
Harper, I think.
Harper, yeah. Because Ben never makes that tackle if the dude's wife hadn't stabbed him the night before. That's how the movie starts for me. Yeah. These two are in the kitchen. She's got the knife.
Dude, it's crazy, man.
It happens, man. Kickers are a special breed.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing like that standing out there in front of that stadium. I'm not saying it as if I could associate with it. I obviously can't. It's just
one of my all-time favorite songs, by the way, is "The Lonesome Kicker" by Adam Sandler.
I remember this.
That is like one of my all-time favorite. Every now and then I will just put it on and just let it play for like 4 or 5 times in a row, and I'll just jam out.
Mr. CJ's never heard the stabbing story. Come on, CJ. You guys are going to have to get in touch with CJ and share with him a link that's got that whole thing. I'm not writing it. I got enough to write. Mark asked, did I just do the psycho? Yeah, that was pretty familiar stuff, right?
Mm.
All right, guys, when we come back, presuming we come back, considering it involves yet another transition, Chris and I will take care of a little bit of business here. This would be transition 2.
Just like a pro.
You like that?
That was good.
Yeah, this is Robert Shum says Vanderjagt was your biggest fan. No, Vanderjagt, he was called the idiot kicker by Peyton Manning just for missing the kick, if memory serves. The idiot kicker.
I don't remember the quote.
Or he said something.
Yeah. I don't remember the quote. But
Matthew McKinney says it was Nick Harper's wife who stabbed him the night before. He says the Super Bowl wasn't the Super Bowl. That wasn't the Super Bowl. It was Steelers versus Colts in a playoff game. There's all kinds of great stuff here. Randy Wagner says, I met Adam Sandler at LA Fitness. He swung by he was actually in the store for real 2 years ago. Here.
Oh, cool.
He and Rob Schneider were filming a movie in Pittsburgh, and they were staying at the hotel right across the street.
Nice.
Here, you guys want to hear a funny Adam Sandler story? I wasn't here. The boss was. I was out of town. And they walk into the store. It's Adam Sandler, Rob Schneider, and these two monstrous dudes who represent their security, right?
Yeah.
They enter our place, which I will let you know here is a private business, okay? They walk into the place, and one of the two big guys turns around and locks our door. Without asking. Because I guess they don't want, the mass of humanity or whatever to be coming in while these guys shop in peace, but like ask or something, right?
Yeah.
So, they're looking around at some stuff. They wanted to get some Pittsburgh stuff and, sports stuff. And Adam Sandler is obviously a Pittsburgh fan, whatever. And my wife can't bring herself. She's way too nice. She can't bring herself to charge them for anything. Okay. And I'm like, have you ever, I'm going to do it right now. Adam Sandler career earnings.
I was going to say net worth. I mean, it's got to be
okay. Adam Sandler's net worth is $440 million. And I am stuck with the nicest person on the planet running this business who says, oh, no, just take the hat. Well, Rob Schneider decides at the last minute that he really wants a hat too, but now Mr. Big Security Guard wants out, and then they're ready to go. So she actually runs after him to give him another hat. So she gave out multiple hats here.
I wonder if we'll see that in Happy Gilmore too.
We should have a scene in Happy Gilmore too. Like they could do it at I don't know what Pitt has to do with this. No, he didn't ask. We don't even have any Pitt stuff here. I don't think we do anyway. We did once in a while. And we realized that nobody buys it, so we
don't call Pittsburgh Pitt. For the love of God, don't call Pittsburgh Pitt.
Okay, that's what's happening here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's a city and then there's a college here. I could play the Bob Barker part only if that stuff was CGI, man. They were throwing some haymakers there.
Apparently he didn't want a stunt double for that, if I remember correctly.
He just passed away, didn't he? I think so.
Long ago. I don't remember how long ago. It was pretty recent, I think. I can't remember though for sure. But that is like seriously one of my favorite movies ever. That's like my favorite Adam Sandler movie. So I'm really stoked.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I was all Wedding Singer, but that was because there was a lot of songs in there that were.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too.
That were near and dear to the heart. He's done some incredible work. I'm being completely facetious. They were generous with they took photos here and stuff like that. And we have them. We've put them on our site of the boss with Adam Sandler when he was in here, and he was a total gentleman. So I'm just being cute, or trying to be. Anyway, let's take care of some business. Gary comes in with $7.50 in Canadian, and that's about $5 US, right? Is it something in that range? That's much appreciated, Gary. That covers the drink.
Hell yeah!
Actually, it goes into a very general YouTube channel pool, but that's neither here nor there. Gary had a question to ask with that. It says, "Hey boys, I'm heading to Pittsburgh tomorrow. 6.5 hour drive. I'm going to assume that's from Toronto. If you're saying 6.5, because anywhere else you'd be coming from Canada, it's going to be 8 or 9, like Montreal or so forth. What's the shop address and when do you close on game night? Well, we're at 224 Fifth Avenue, right downtown, and we're open 12 to 6 Tuesday through Saturday. That's 12 p.m. as in noon to 6 p.m. And we will have wide open doors for you here. That's Tuesday through Saturday here. Robert comes in with 5 gifts. Top Prad came in with a couple of bucks here. So did Damon. Our barber dropped 5 gifts in. We're still waiting for the big gender reveal here from Carrie. That's a staple of this program here. Richard Hunt comes in with $5 here. One Slow Mazda is a great one. That's also a new one on me. You recognize that name?
I do not.
5 gifts. Oh, this is why.
There we go.
New member. Well, welcome. That's all very, very cool. Guys, we will let you know tomorrow for sure, once Chris and I work out the details here, when we're going to be doing stuff on Wednesday here. Oh, Gary says London. Oh, he's flying over 6.5 hours. It's going to be closer to
London, Ontario, probably.
Oh, London, Ontario. I thought he's referring to the nonstop British Airways flight that we have that William Pitt never bothered to take. London, Ontario. Yeah, we'll be happy to have you. It's going to be really, really cool. The Canadian tourism is obviously way down in northern cities in the U.S. this year. We will have you here with open arms. Adam Sandler was #1 in earnings in Hollywood. Couldn't pay for his own hat in this place.
Could, but wasn't
asked.
Made to.
She never took him to the register. Like, no, man, just a picture here. And yes, confirmed here that Bob Barker passed. That was last August 23rd here. So Sean says, aren't you going to Europe and missing some shows? Oh, you mean the Serbia thing? Oh no, that's been canceled. There's a lot of unrest over there right now. There's street protests, blockades, and now it's starting to get a little ugly in the 3 major cities over there. And I was going to stay in 2 of those major cities and take my daughter, and no thanks. Not this time. We'll go back some other time whenever it's safer for her. I don't care. I've been over there when it's been hell on earth. It just doesn't matter to me, but I'm not taking my daughter into that. So anyway, guys, listen, we'll be back with another one tomorrow, and it will be at 4 p.m. tomorrow. Okay. And we'll let you know what's going on for the week. All right.